Hey guys, Hayden here again from Alarm Systems Store, and today we're going to be talking about keypad zones on the DSC NEO. So all keypads with the NEO and most DSC systems come with an additional terminal on the back. So I have to back off of this one, but as you can see there is a fifth terminal and it is labeled P/Z. And what that means is you can either use it as a PGM output or you can use it as a zone input. That can be used with door contacts and even power devices such as motion detectors, which I'll be going over as well. So anything you need near the keypad, but you don't want to run a wire all the way back to the panel, you can just run a wire to the keypad and set up a zone for that sensor. So first thing I'm going to do is shut the system down, and I'm going to show you how to wire up the two different types, and then we'll jump into the programming. There's a few extra steps in addition to setting up the zone itself. So after I get through the wiring, we'll go over the programming for what needs done, and then you should be good to go. But I will be right back. Alright, so I got the keypad and the system shut down, and as you can see here I just have the keypad with the wires for the keypad itself attached, and it's a little bit hard to see the terminals here. I don't know if it'll even... So underneath these wires you can see the G, Y, B, and R, and then the PZ. So I'm just going to explain what wires go where, depending on what setup you're using, whether this is going to be a zone or a PGM. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like after it's done. So hopefully between those, it's clear enough, but it's going to be a little bit hard to see what's going on because I got to move the keypad around while I'm doing this. So, but anyway, so let's say you are trying to use a two-wire door or window contact or something like that. Even a garage door contact can be used with these, but essentially those are going to have two-wire inputs. So normally you're going to have a yellow and a green. So with two-wire zones, hooking them up to the keypad, you're going to use the PZ terminal for one wire, and then you're going to use the black wire for the other terminal. So essentially, since black is a ground, we're going to use green on black, and that is going to be our ground or our common. So I'm going to open this terminal up just a little bit and slide that down in. And these keypad terminals are a bit tight, so especially with powered devices on here, you're going to have 4 wires going into this instead of 2 additional, so it'll be a total of 8. So it might be worth it to splice in these wires, but I'm just going to kind of shove them in there, and it does work that way, so it should be okay. And then our yellow wire is going to go to the PZ terminal. And using that setup as such is going to give you a 2-wire input. So with this setup, you could use this with a door contact, window contact, garage door, anything that's a 2-wire setup will work this way. Now, if you are wanting to use powered devices, we have to use these 2 additional wires as well. So if you want a motion, glass break, whatever the case may be, your red is going to go to the red terminal on the keypad. That's where it's going to get its power from. So I'm going to open that up and shove it in. And then you also have a black wire, which is another ground, but this is a power ground. And since common and ground are just the same thing, this is also going to go in the black terminal, which is terminal number 2. So I'm going to have 3 wires in this. Like I said, if you want to splice it, you are more than welcome to. But essentially, this right here is what your setup will look like if you are using a powered device. So let me zoom in a little bit on that. Hopefully that's clear. So as you can see there, we got our 2 red wires in. The black terminal has a black, or 2 blacks and a green. And then the PZ terminal has the yellow from the zone. And then your yellow and green, those only go to the keypad. So those are those keypad wires. Now, The other way you can wire this up is if you are using it with a PGM. So if you are using the keypad as a PGM, essentially what you need to do is reverse the 2-wire setup. So the PZ is actually going to be the ground for the PGM that we create. So let me get these tightened back up so they don't fall out. All right, so if we were going to go for a PGM setup, normally you would use red and black because those are going to be power wires, and the whole point of an output is to put out power. So if we were going to trigger a relay or something similar with the keypad, what you would do is you would take your red wire. It's going to go in the red terminal up here because that is for power. So when the PZ terminal is set to be a PGM, it is basically a negative switching output. So it's going to turn on the negative side of power. So that's why we're connecting the black wire to the PZ terminal in this scenario. So if this is for a PGM, wires don't particularly like getting jinked around whenever they're already in terminals, but anyway, if you are going for a PGM setup, this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to have your red power wire in the red terminal there, and your negative is going to be in the PZ terminal for ground. Now, with that all out of the way, we'll jump over to the programming, and I'm going to show you guys how you would set up different zones or PGMs on a keypad zone like this. So I will be right back again. So I got the system back up and going. I got the motion over here attached. And now I'm going to go into the programming and set this keypad zone up as a zone. And then I'll come back and I'll do it as a PGM afterwards. So what we need to do to set it up as a zone is go into our programming. Star 8 5555 is the default. And then we need to go to the keypad programming sections. So on a NEO, the keypad programming sections are very different than they were on previous DSC systems. It actually starts on section 861. So let me go back real quick. In section 861, it says keypad 1 programming. Now if we scroll right, 862 is keypad 2 programming. 863 is keypad 3, etc., etc. So take 860 plus whatever number this keypad is. So when you enrolled keypads onto your system, they enrolled in a certain order. Whether you noticed it or not, each one has a very specific number out of 16 that it is set to. So this one, since it is our only keypad, is keypad 1. If you had additional keypads, they would be named, keypad 2, keypad 3, etc. You can go into the 902 module programming section to see what keypad is assigned to what slot. So you may need to do that if you have multiple keypads and you're trying to set up a keypad zone. But if you're like me and you just have one keypad, we just need to go to keypad 1 programming. So hit star. And first thing you're going to see is keypad partition mask. That decides what partition it works on. That's not what we're looking for. So use the right arrow key and scroll over until you see keypad option 3. That is 023 in keypad programming. Now hit start to go in, and then once we are in there, we're going to scroll to the right until we see PGM output. So this is what decides whether this keypad is going to have a PGM or a zone connected to that extra terminal. So if we want a zone, we have to make sure PGM output is turned off. So hit star and change it to a no. And then we would back out one page. And then we need to scroll backwards. So scroll left until you see keypad I/01. Now what this is the section that determines what number you're using for your input/output. So in this case, we're going to be using zone 1 for our motion here. So this number would be input 001, and that tells the keypad it is zone 1. Now, if we needed to put it on a different number, a different zone, just match the zone number up to this number. So if you're doing zone 12, put 012 there. And the last thing we need to do is scroll back 2 pages, and then once we get to the red lock and it shows 861 Keypad 1 Programming, we need to go to section 001. This is where we set our zone definitions. So I already have this set up, but under zone 1, it is set for interior stay away. That is the motion definition that I want to use for this motion, so we're good to go. So now what I can do is just back all the way out. So now that we're back at the main screen, you can see I got the green check mark right there and no troubles, so we are good to go. And if I rub my hand across this, it triggers and shows zone 1 is open. Now, that is a bit different than you would normally see with motions attached to the main board of the system, or even zone expanders. Normally, motions do not give you a readout on the screen to say a zone is open, but I believe there's a little bit of a miscommunication. Now, I believe, for whatever reason, the way they program these, if you use a motion definition, it does actually show up as an open zone on the panel. Not a huge deal, but that is one caveat that I found out while testing this. Essentially, if you use a door contact and stuff, you expect it to show you an open zone. With motions, you don't expect it to show open zones, so it's a little bit different than normal operation, but it doesn't hurt anything other than, you know, showing an open zone on your panels. So if that bothers you, you may need to move it back over to a zone expander or put it on the main board, but if you're cool with it, you are free to use a motion on this keypad. So, one other thing to mention at this point is that I am using an EOL resistor with this motion. So, as you can see here, I have my 2 power wires, I have my green wire, and I have my yellow wire. And my resistor is attached to my yellow wire. So, if you're using resistors with this setup, that is perfectly fine. But if you want to use a normally closed loop with a keypad zone, you have to have a minimum wire length of at least 3 feet. For example, I tried using this like 1.5 foot long cable that I have attached to this motion, and it shows a trouble on the zone because it can't read it because it's less than 3 feet long. So I don't know really what that means. I'm assuming it's just a a current, like a current flow thing. So if wire's too short, and maybe there's not enough current there to supervise the line, whatever the case may be. But essentially, just keep in mind, if you are using normally closed contacts, or you're going for a normally closed loop on a keypad zone, your wire run has to be a minimum of 3 feet long. Otherwise, you can strap a resistor to it like I did with this motion and change this zone to be a EOL zone, and that will fix the problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this motion off of here, and I'm going to hook up this little Piezo sounder. So all this is a little speaker that you can attach to keypads, or well, even a PGM just on the main board if you want to. But essentially, this is used mostly for louder chimes from a keypad. So it's got a positive and a negative, and whenever it's powered, it's just a 85 decibel sounder as compared to the really quiet keypad sounds that you would normally get. So I'm gonna hook that up and then I'll be right back. Alright, I am back here. I got the Piezo hooked up. I haven't fixed the zone, but I did already do the programming because the Piezo was going off constantly, because when a zone is set, it constantly has a small amount of current running through it, so it was sounding the sounder, and it was pretty annoying. So I turned it off by setting this up properly. Now, I'm going to go back over what I did. So first, just going to go into your programming, and then we need to go back to section 861 for our keypad programming. And then once we get there, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll over until we see the keypad option 3, hit star, scroll over to PGM output, and we need to have this set as yes or a Y. So if it's a no, hit star to change it, but make sure that is a Y before you hit the pound button. So once you back out one page, we're going to go back over to the I/O1 setting, and now we're going to pick the PGM that we're telling the system to use. So PGMs 1 through 4 are reserved for on the main board only. So you can't use PGMs 1 through 4, but to my knowledge you should be able to use any other PGM as long as something doesn't already have that slot taken up. So I'm using PGM 5, so set it to 005, so you can type that in. It kicks you back. Now we have the red flashing lock. We need to hit pound one more time so that we get the solid red lock, and that means we are in the main menu of programming. So that's all we need to do on the keypad, and now we need to go to PGM 5 and tell it how to act. So that is going to be done in section 009. You scroll through, pick the PGM that you chose. So PGM 5 for me, and I set this up to be a keypad buzzer follow. And what that means is anytime the keypad buzzer goes off, which is like the arming noise that it makes, the disarming countdown noise that it makes, the chime, for example, the only thing this won't follow when it comes to the keypad is just the button presses, because if that piezo went off every time you hit a button on the keypad, it would get quite excessive pretty quickly. So essentially, if you set this up for keypad buzzer follow, this piezo is now acting as an extra loud chime for this keypad. So if I go back, an easy way to do that is just to arm the system. So if I hold the away button here, it's going to start the countdown for the arming process, and during that countdown the keypad buzzer does go off, so it will sound the piezo as well. So as you heard there, because the keypad buzzer was going off, this sounder, the piezo sounder, was also going off as well. But that is all there is to it. We get this question all the time, and it's a pretty common thing that people want to do. You know, if you got a wire run that goes to your keypad from a previous system, or you just forgot to run one, so you need something close to the keypad, this is how you do it. So you can, like I said, you can set it up for a zone. That can be a door, window, garage door, motion, glass break. The only thing you wouldn't be able to do on this is like smoke detectors, and I wouldn't do heat detectors on it either. But pretty much any other sensor you should be able to hook up to the keypad and make it work. And then alternately, if you need a PGM output for, let's say, a piezo sounder, for example, or any other device like a relay that's triggering something else, you can do that by hooking up the device to the keypad and setting up a PGM so that it triggers that device. So that's all there is to it. Hope this was informative. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you could, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. But that's going to do it for me today. So I hope you guys had a good time, and I will catch you guys on the next one.